Hey, what it do, what it could be, hoping it's what it should be. I'm Speaks By The Way, your host of Business and Music, and guess what? Y'all in for a crazy night. Get ready.
What up, everyone? I'm Cali Society. I run a label called Rose Grown. I have a management company called Ocean Grown and part of OTR Records, A&R over there.
How y'all doing? My name is PJ Compton from LA. I'm part of a show on HBO Max called Sweet Life Los Angeles. I'm a president of a label called Lost Sound, management of artists. I consider myself a creator, an innovator, a storyteller, and just an all-around entrepreneur.
What's up, everybody? My name is Miri. I'm a music manager. I day-to-day manage My Guy Mars. I'm also the band manager for 50 Cunnet or Nothing, a manager for a film company called Maintain the Mystery, which is centered around Black South Central LA history. And I'm a community organizer with my unincorporated nonprofit PAC project.
Alright, yo, look, I'm just MJ himself, Poseidon, aka your mama's favorite waiver when I got him. 1/4 of the co-owner of Breaking Ground TV, Mr. Nuhi Spotlight, Mr. What We Talk About, Mr. Creative Director as well.
What's up, everybody? My name is Kanai. I'm from Carson, Compton, Long Beach, down there everywhere in LA. A&R for Eclipse, and my other artist, Dream Chasing Mike, that y'all probably see on Twitter, Dollar Boy Mike. Work with a bunch of other people behind the scenes, so I just be behind the scenes.
It takes a lot to get up in front of anybody and really talk about anything, you know, in an intimate situation like this. So I want to keep it real open, you know. My name, Forever Kofi, comes from Ghana. My father's from Ghana, you know, Kumasi to be exact, the Shanti tribe. So anything that you know about us is very friendly, is very welcoming. But we like to sit around, we like to talk, we like to tell stories. Stories is what, you know, connects us in a big way, I feel. So storytelling is how we connected a lot of lessons in my life growing up. So I want to start off with like what could be a version of a story, something real easy. Like if you could talk to yourself 5 or 10 years, you pick. 1 or 2, but you gotta pick fast. What would you say to that person? What do you think they'd be saying to you?
Find your niche as early as possible and stick to that and go 100% at that instead of wasting time on like other things that don't matter or things that you feel 50-50 about. Like just go 100% at whatever you best at.
It's okay to be the LeBron, and it's okay to be Mark Jackson. You can be LeBron in the spotlight in front, people know what it is, but also you gotta understand that sometimes you might be Mark Jackson. You could start something. You could be the head of that person. You could be the person who forefronted that, who stapled that head on. And sometimes you gotta take that step to the side, let the play develop without you, and you gotta still be, you know, solid.
Continue to keep going. Ignore what other people really project onto you. You're gonna do the risk assessment yourself. You're headed towards a certain direction. You have to anticipate everything. Just never lose sight of your vision.
Really to stay with it. If this is what you want, whatever it is, you gotta be all in. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You gotta bet on yourself and be confident.
Continue what you're doing. That I picked the right team. Take everything what people say to you kind of with a grain of salt. And what we're doing isn't normal. It's a lot of risk, but the reward is dope. Just tell myself, keep going, get closer to God, and fall in love with this shit.
How did it at first change for you? How did it change your situation?
I got to see who was really in it to work and who wasn't. It gave me the time that was needed to regroup, restructure.
It made me more fearless. Shit, you lost everything, so it's like, what else I got to lose? You feel me? And it made me more calculated.
I graduated college, so that was the biggest thing. And I'm not a person that likes to sit still for too long, so the pandemic was like messing me up. I built up like the discipline and the patience and the endurance. I joined different teams and really just immersing myself in my passions and making sure that I was always happy in everything that I was doing.
I have a bachelor's degree in sociology and went to Washington State University. My shit is not shiny nowhere, but I learned how to talk about my story. And there's something unique to what you have done and what you have put together that can make you unique in that system. So it's really all about learning how to tell your story and 2, provide value. So figure out what value is for those people. If it's some software, go learn that bitch on edX for free. If it's, you feel me, like, so just figure out how to provide value and tell your story. You could be sitting anywhere.
So, let's get with a head for the hair, you know, get a head. The pandemic brought the hair. You feel me? Poseidon, you know, Poseidon doesn't have waves, he has hair, you feel me? But besides the point, you know, you gotta give a little comic relief, you know, release the tension. For me, the pandemic brought consistency. For me, not just myself, but for my team, we work, and a lot of the things that you guys enjoy watching, we do. Consistency is key. Just like Jim Jones said, if you're not motivated, be consistent, just go.
So over the pandemic, I did A&R work, photography, videography work. I started a studio, I subleased a studio out, so I was like, put together my own first studio. Still want my building, so I'm still working on that. But it's just so much, like, I don't know, most of y'all know me, so it's kind of like hard to say it all at once, but you know, just bouncing around doing a bunch of different stuff.
So if you could briefly tell somebody like, you know what, just remember this, and you'll get there. What would you tell somebody here who might want to do what you're doing?
Like the way I started, I literally, I ran into DJ Speed through some people, and I was like, I don't know what you're doing here. I just see you have a building, shit's cracking, your YouTube numbers are ridiculous. I'll work for you for free. He was like an intern, and I was like, I didn't know what that was at the time. And so I became an intern and literally every day asked questions. I was kind of annoying, but it was like questions that they like, when someone asks you, like, you're like, okay, your head is there. So it's like a progressive question, I guess. And just literally just do it like straight up like Nike. You just got to pull up and do it every day, pull up and do it every single day. And
Always ask questions, always be curious, always wonder how, like, what's next. Just understand, nothing happens overnight, right? As long as you're consistent and confident within yourself, they're gonna take you to the places that you want to be, right? It might not happen on the timing and the pacing that you might like, but if it's meant to be, then it'll happen at the right time for you.
Fall in love with evolution. Fall in love with growth. If you can't see yourself being better tomorrow, then you've already lost.
Stay the course, no matter what you're doing. I don't like quitting at anything, so like once I start something, I gotta stay the course to whatever that, you know, whenever I can exit out.
My name is Gary Biddy. I'm a manager, head of A&R of Gwen Records. I'm from Baldwin Village, aka the Jungles.
My name is Andre Davis, born and raised in LA. Right now I do artist management, but my passion is really A&R, so hopefully I'll get back on that side soon.
My name is Brian Salas. A few of you may know me as Salas. I manage talent. I help a lot of people out. Probably a couple people in the audience I've helped out from a time or two. And if you know me at all, you know that I love LA culture and want all aspects of LA culture to be represented properly and whatnot. So I'll do whatever I can to help in any way possible, connect dots, introduce you to people, throw lobs, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really just, you know, that passionate about LA and all things Los Angeles.
My name is Brandon Banks. Some people know me as Easy. I'm from Lamar Park. I'm an associate creative director for Cashmere Agency. I spent a lot of time, 8.5 years at Complex on the brand partnership side. I ran a blog called Easy Street that, similar to what Salas was saying, was really just all things Los Angeles. When I'm not doing the 9-to-5 stuff, is spending time connecting dots and being basically like similar to Salas.
My name is Rob Thomas. Some of y'all know me as Productions by Rob. I run Breaking Ground TV. We produce West Coast Confidential. We produce A Seat at the Table, Live and Unplugged. I co-manage Epic Must Die. I am the director of Karen Bass's campaign.
I just want to say thank you to Kofi for, you know, putting this together. We need stuff like this, man. You know, the industry needs more things like this so people can learn and educate themselves. I guess I'm the outsider. I'm from New York. I'm from Queens. I don't forget where I come from. I started with the late great Jam Master Jay and Run DMC in the 80s, carrying Adidas bags on tour. Never knew what I was going to do, but God directed me into the right ways, and then from there I became an A&R at Sony, Relativity, and worked with everybody from 3 6 Mafia to Fat Joe to Mac Ball to MOP to Beat Nuts. you know, 8 Ball and MJG, so many people. And I met Easy, and then Easy brought me to LA. He passed away. Been with Bone Thugs for over 25 years. Fell in love with LA because of the weather. I do live here, but I'm from New York, so I'm just, you know, borrowing time out here. But I built so many great relationships here in LA with all type of people from all different cultures out here. Day one with Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, with my man Big U. Anybody's a Nipsey fan, they know that. If you don't know that, then you're really not a Nipsey fan. Humbly, you know, because no one really believed in him. Like most people in the industry, they're followers, man, not leaders. They jump on the bandwagon after people like us do all the hard work and bring it to light. And, you know, revive Scott Storch's career. Just been blessed, man. Had a long career, work hard. You know, about to be 57 years old. Got into the cannabis business with Burner, own a lot of the cookie stores. If anybody here loves really hip hop like we do, come check out the Hip Hop Museum, recording studio, dispensary we built out in Lemonade Van Nuys. And then got into the treatment business, helping people with drug addiction and alcohol addiction using cannabis in Studio City. And common sense is not common, you know? Never take no for an answer. You know, follow up. You know, you're gonna meet so many people here tonight, but if you don't really follow up, then why'd you come, you know? Be able to communicate, be organized, have goals and set those goals and have an end game and a structure. Never look at the candy, look at the candy factory, the bigger picture. You know, when I used to go on tour with Fat Joe, he wouldn't fly, and, you know, we didn't have, you know, an iPhone to tell us where we're going. We gotta use an atlas.
You know, you do have to end up wearing a lot of different hats and whatnot. And so what I like to tell people who are on the business side of music is understand the importance of your relationships, right? Steve is here because of his relationships. I mean, he was never just attached to any one thing. And when that thing, you know, ended or died, his career was done. You know, what's it, 30 plus years now in the game? Man. So, and
in the 80s I started.
Exactly, right?
Shout out DJ Head, by the way.
And you know, like, I grew up knowing who Steve Lobel is, right? And so the point is that he's been here, you know, contributing and giving back into the game just because of his relationships. So when I say, you know, this is, people often think the talent is very important. The relationships are very important. You know what I'm saying? And cultivate the relationships, bring value to your relationships. You know, don't always just have your hand out. You know, I extend, you know, help before I ask for anything in return.
If you keep your eyes open, a lot of times the doubts will come in.
Don't be afraid to wear any and like every hat. A lot of times before people will help you out, they got to see you help yourself. You know, everything really starts and ends with you.
Like, if I see opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of the opportunity in a good way. And opportunities don't knock all the time. So if you know you're in a building with someone you want to talk to, and tomorrow's not promised, you gotta take advantage of that time at that moment. A lot of people are scared. And if you're not built like that, you're gonna get rolled over. So just take advantage of the opportunities.
So when I was first getting into this game, I didn't have any relationships, and I was living in Rancho Cucamonga at the time. And I would go on these two websites all the time, Dub CNN and West Coast Riders, to see what was going on in the emerging LA. It was called like the New West at the time. And one of the people that I saw an interview, someone did an interview with, was Terrace Martin. And I had happened to see Terrace in a jazz club, because if you know, he's a jazz musician, and he was playing the sax for a couple. So I was like, oh, I've seen this guy before. So in a way, I forgot how I connected with him. It's probably like MySpace, because it was that long ago. About needing to get some production. He's like, all right, yeah, come to my mama's house. And so anyone who knows Terrace long enough knows that he used to have a studio at his mom's house back in the day. So I go to his house, and as I'm getting ready to come downstairs, like in like the basement of the garage or whatever, Spiral Look is coming up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit. It's like, so then I realized, oh, he was really like working. So I wanted to do some business with him, get some beats and whatnot. And he would make me go back out to the backyard, and we'd go to like the corner of this little of the backyard, and that was like his office, and that's where we would handle the business, right? And we would negotiate, you know, we would negotiate how much he wanted for beats and things like that. And at the time, I didn't realize how ridiculous this was, because why are we going in the corner of this backyard? Like, there's no one here. Like, it's just us. And why are we? And so, and then he would lower his voice, and it was just me and him. It's like, man, like, why are you lowering your voice? Why are we whispering how much money I got to pay you for these beats and whatnot? So But you can see Terrence because if you know Terrence, he's a real nigga like that. Exactly. And so, but fast forward, that's like 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Terrence is, one of the biggest, living legends we have in the game or whatnot. But he knows that I'm a real one because I pulled up to his mama's house and like bought Beats Cash and whatnot in the backyard, in the corner and whatnot, whispering when no one else was around. You know what I'm saying? But yet, when he sees me to this day, it's the same love from it was, 15 years ago.
One night they snuck me into some Atlantic party. I shouldn't have been in there. I had no reason to be in there. Yeah, I guess so, right. So Big Boy's in there, and I was a big fan of Big Boy, still am. Head tells me, like, go say what's up to him. I walk over there, Big looks at me, and I just freeze, like, and he just walks past me. And I was like, damn, I just blew it. Fast forward, Head gets hired, like, at the station. Well, he was hired at the station, but he finally started bringing me up there. And I was just like, all right, I'm never going to let Big walk by without saying what's up or talking to him. So ever since then, like, whenever I see him, I speak. And as y'all can see, I'm not really the one to do much public speaking like that. Yeah, that's my story. That's what I got for y'all.
Few stories, but
You do.
relax.
Alright.
Because they probably got more.
I told you I asked for
But
one.
South by Southwest, there's 2 points of South by Southwest that stick out to me. At the height of what you would call the blog era, it was one of the last nights, and we're walking up and down the street. It's like 30 folks deep for LA. So it's, who was it? It was you and I, Kendrick, the whole TDE squad, me, Scheme, like Sean, Chris, El Prez, Day One. Some other folks we ran into, like Pac Div, we ran into Dom on the way to one of his sets, Diz, and everybody just like, yo, these LA niggas is out here deep as fuck. And when we came home after that, like just the trajectory of where a lot of those artists went changed because people saw the city tangibly and together and being like, damn, these LA niggas really stick together and there's really some energy. Second one, it's the following year, I was at Kashmir for my first run. We did a show called Respect the West. Nate Dogg had just passed. We had Warren G and Dog Pound headlining. Snoop was out there for some Dorito stuff. Saw them all come backstage. Kendrick was I guess you would say, the secondary headliner. So a bunch of West Coast cats that had performed. We were all in the backstage, green room, joyous occasion. And you could see like the pain that happened with Nate Dogg, just on the faces, as expected. And Warren G, Dog Pound got out there as professional as possible. And just the energy from them performing, Snoop was just backstage, supposed to just be there. Snoop came out there and rocked. And the energy of that venue was crazy. And I just remember certain artists, maybe myself, walking to Ain't No Fun and a bunch of other hits. So I'm talking J-Rock, Dot. It was a bunch of people, just like, you could just see on the faces, the people we grew up watching and being that close and being all in one room celebrating the culture that came from this city. That night was electric. And I don't think, we've all seen concerts at places like Staples and they're like, but in that intimate bar, I don't think I've seen the energy across generations as high as that.
That I was diagnosed with colon cancer in like July of 2020. So I spent the bulk of quarantine dealing with that and whatnot, and then having to do chemo. And so having to sit down because there's a worldwide pandemic, but then also being like shut down because I just don't feel good. The chemo part, I didn't feel good because I just had surgery for the actual colon cancer, but that chemo whooped me. And in sitting there being frustrated with life, right? Not being able to move around, dealing with, chemotherapy, all that. I had to realize that it was something that I needed though. Like I needed to sit down and focus because I had been running so hard for so long that I was running to some degree unintentionally, right? I wasn't putting intention on a lot of what I was doing. And so in focusing on social media and Twitter specifically, I realized, well, one, I didn't realize how many people like fucked with my tweets and whatnot. And so I would like tweet shit and they would do like, well, I'm like, oh man, people actually are like paying attention to what the fuck I'm saying. Because I thought I was just like, talking to an empty room a lot of times. So I realized that a lot of people, well, I do be talking, but I be saying some shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, read my pen tweet. But I realized how many people fuck with me. And so in having to sit there for, that long, I was counting down when I'd be done with chemo, right? Which is coming out of like March of 2021. I was so ready to like get back to work. Like the last day of chemotherapy, like when they took me off and whatnot, I literally pulled up on Head doing an Amazon event. He didn't need me or anything like that, but I just couldn't wait to kind of like get back. It was, I just needed to get back. But what I took from that experience was, if I'm going to live this life, right? Because I've been blessed to come out, cancer free and all that, right? And it got my attention. If I'm going to do this if I'm going to live the rest of this life, I got to be intentional. Like, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Each and everything that I'm doing. And I would tweet that, and people even like would make jokes about, be intentional and whatnot. But if you've seen anything I've done since March of 2021 to now, it's because I've been intentional. And all of the, I've taken on more clients. I've done more things. Me and Head have done things. We've started West Coast Confidential. We work with Rob, Breaking Ground TV. And that was, the intention was to put 2 black women on a TV show talking about rap and hip hop, because, black women are never supported in the industry and the business or whatnot. That's intentional. Like, it's always being intentional. And so that's what I took from having to sit down, during that time was, if I'm going to do something, it's got to make sense and it's got to be a real reason and a real purpose. And that's when I really turned up on doing stuff for the city from a professional standpoint. I reach out to people like, Gary. I pulled up on him because I was like, I see what he's doing. It's like, yo, what can I do on any level to help you? You're doing great, but can I do anything? That means a lot to someone like him who's young and, an older person says, I see you, right? And so I'm trying to be intentional, and there's people in this room I'm sure that I've had conversations with. They've called me, I've pulled up on them, I had a meeting. It's because I want to see them do well, but I also want to challenge them to be the best versions of themselves. We're living this life this one time. Let's get the most out of this experience, and that's what I really pulled out of COVID quarantine and whatnot.
A lot of the things that happened besides COVID were more of like the Black Lives Matter and what people want to call uprisings and whatever names they want to give that. And just seeing how corporate America started to act changed a lot of perspective of similar Salas moving with intention. Like, not that I wasn't before, but it's from a professional standpoint, where do I put my hands or feet into that makes sense for the community and the culture of things?
Before the pandemic, I was really just trying to zero in and find my thing, what we was really gonna do. And the pandemic hit. I know for a lot of y'all it was really a tough time and bad, but for me and my team, that shit was lit. We made the most money that we had made up to that point, and not from no PPP loans or nothing like that. We made it the real way. We went and worked and had jobs, but that whole time we was just working. We was producing interviews. Our first interview that went viral because the homie doesn't like to kiss women. And from there we was like, all right, we got to double down. We can't just stay here. And we came back 2021 with Live and Unplugged. We had Airplane James, Cheyenne Wright on tour with Blast, Griff Tyler, Epic Must Die, Dirty Dale, Hey Dion before he signed with Def Jam and shit like that. So after that, we was really like, all right, what's next? We was like, dang, a video countdown show would be dope. And then Salas was working on something. Crystal, the DJ, told me about it before it was out there. And I called Salas and was like, yo, you doing something with cameras, bro. You gotta keep me in here. I got all the cameras in the city. Let him know. So I From there, we did West Coast Confidential. From there, we started working with brands like McDonald's, LA Live, AEG, Amazon, NBC, and it was just like, it was going up. Like, so for me, the pandemic was like great because it slowed everything down.
People were staying home, you know, getting divorced, fighting with their girl, you know, couldn't pay the bills, you know, alcohol, drug addiction, mental health. So what it taught me was when the virus is over, which is still really not over, that I wanted to go out there and to go into different communities, more so Latin communities and Afro-American communities, and let people know that treatment is cool. You know, a lot of times that, you know, people don't think treatment is cool because, you know, they think that if they go back to the hood or the neighborhood that, oh, and you were in treatment. And we helped a lot of people through treatment in our treatment center. And I found out another reason why a lot of people don't go to treatment is because they don't have health insurance or they can't afford treatment. So what I want to do is, and I have some great supporters in the industry, is that why, if you work at a record label, you got health insurance, you got a steady check, you got an expense account that when you go to Mr. Child's or the strip club, you bill them back to the artist, and you got a 401k, but the artists don't got shit. And you're making money off the artist. So I'm gonna go to every record label and let them know when you sign a new artist, you should give them health insurance. Because a lot of artists are going through mental health issues and drug addiction and no one wants to help them. And I could call out so many labels and managers that have put their people through our clinic, our treatment center, and they're like, well, they're a liability. Why'd you sign them then? And now you want to bail on them because you don't know how to deal with them. It's like my whole career, I'm around guns, Hennessy, gangs, all types of street stuff, and it doesn't make me different. I still deal with the culture vultures and the corporate officers. Because at the end of the day, you go catch a case, man, your family most of the time is going to come visit you, you know? Also, like if you find a great man or a great woman in your life, like have the balance to spend time with them because they need attention. You know, if you have a child and you become a father, but you're not there for them, then why'd you have a child? There's so many kids out here having kids. So the balance is, if I had someone talking to me in the back of my mind, I'd be like, Steve, have balance, and I would teach myself balance. Now I have balance, and I put myself first before anybody else. So balance is the thing that I would say.